I remember a couple of years ago, a spiritual teacher, Pam Lord, came here and did a talk. And her title of her talk was, How Great Thou Art. And the whole premise of this. And I know some people hear this and you think, ooh, is this really unity? Right? Absolutely it is, because we know it's not all about how great thou art. It is how great thou art. Because we believe that Christ is within. And so that whole song, if you look at it, and dying for our sins, we die for our mistakes all the time, don't we? Yeah. So you take these songs, they're good old hymns, and you can use them under the unity language. And it's not about our Savior, because we see Jesus as our master teacher, not as our Savior, because there's nothing to save you from, because you're perfect. So I want to make sure that's clarified. So you take these good old hymns that many of us have learned when we were little, and you interpret them for present day, more open thinking. So, Marcy, thank you. I just love when she puts that microphone away. I'm like, oh man, I know it's coming. I titled today's talk, Lord, prop me up on my leaning side. Let's show the first picture. Can you relate to that? Or is it just me and the week I've had? Because I'm going to talk about that. Yep, prop me up on my leaning side. This week I was leaning bad. Whew, it was just a busy. I don't want to use the word chaotic, but that is my truth. It felt chaotic. And it was just, that doesn't make it bad, right? It doesn't make it bad. Trust me, those of you who have known me for a long time, chaos follows me wherever I go. You know, Pigpen used to have the cloud of dust. Kathy's got a cloud of chaos all around her. If you've seen the way I walk, right? My daughter's shaking her head profusely. So, I love this because all within all of that busyness and chaotic energy going on all week, because there was a lot of activity going on around here. This place is a very busy church. We've got lots of things always going on. If you don't get our email blast, you need to sign that registry, because when you open it, it's going to be whoo. And you're going to think, oh my God, there's a lot going on around here. And it's true. Because what? A church that's alive is worth the drive. Right. We're very alive here. So I saw this. Somebody gave me an article, probably a month ago. And it hit me. But boy, it really hit me this week. And I said, this is when I'm going to bring this title in. I get the title, right? And then I've shared with you many times I should be careful on when I name the title, because then the universe brings me whatever it is I need to support this talk. And I got it. Boy, did I get it this week. And I needed propping up, because that barn was falling and I was losing it. And who were the props? Who propped me up? Not only, of course, I'm all the time going to God, right? But the God within. I want to clarify that. I'm always going to the God within. I don't need to be in this sanctuary. I don't need to be in my Om candle in my room. No. Anywhere I go, I have a second to connect with God. Don't wait. You have a second to connect with Spirit within. So that's number one. Number two, I surround myself with people who are like-minded. And there's a reason. Because I know anytime I start to lose it, I got all these props. I got all these 2x4s that are willing to support me. Let's show the next picture. Anybody ever watch an Amish group build a barn? That's exactly what it looks like. All the women are making all the food, and the men are putting that barn together. You know, I'll tell you a couple of things. One of the things was it was just very busy around here, and there was many, many times when I was starting to lose it. I'd have to walk away. If those who work here saw me. This is Kathy when she's overwhelmed. Alan's shaking his head, yes. I saw her many times do that, right? Alan, our new office admin. And he's getting to see this whole other side of Reverend Kathy, right? That deals in the real world, right? I got a foot in the real world, foot in the spiritual world, and I walk my path very carefully. But when I'm in this world too much, I didn't have to breathe, and I wasn't even breathing. Well, let's add in on Tuesday, my day off. Perfect winds. You know, Michael and I have a sailboat, and so perfect winds. He's like, come on, let's go sailing. Now, I had a list of tasks that I was going to do at home, and I decided, the heck with it. Let's go sailing. So off we go, and we put the boat in the water up at Brookville Lake, and we start to move. First thing you do is you start your little motor. Anybody sail? You know, you depend on wind, but you need a motor because you got to get yourself out of the dock and you got to get yourself back in. Well, motor's running. We push ourselves off the dock, and it won't go into gear. But Michael is dead set, we're going to go sailing. I'm not going to worry about it. Not going to worry about it. I'm like, but we don't have any gears, and we don't have any, this is me. And he's like, we're going sailing. I'll deal with it later. Off we go. Okay, down Brookville Lake we go. We've got perfect wind. Oh, it's wonderful. We're tacking back and forth. Now we got to get back, right? Because we know we have an appointment at 5 o'clock to be somewhere. So we don't have a motor to get back in, so we better go way ahead of time. Within 10 minutes of turning around and heading towards the dock, no wind. None. I'm talking zero. We're like a cork in the middle of a lake, right? I'm like, okay, I'm calling in the angels of wind. I'm calling in the angels of wind. Now I'm saying this to myself, right? Because Michael's already trying to figure out, he's trying to catch a wind somewhere, right? And the sails are just going like this. Angels of wind, give us some wind, right? We get a push. Literally, we get a push. He goes, there's some wind, and then nothing. And then, come on, angels of wind. And so now I'm saying it out loud. Angels of wind, we need your help. Okay, Mom, I talk to my mom all the time. Mom, if you have anything to do with angels of wind, can you go get some more? Because we really need some help. Michael's like, that's pretty good. Talk to him some more. It took us a while, but now you have no motor to get into a dock. Now, this is a big boat. We have oars, absolutely, but those oars are not like row your boat. A sailboat, that ain't going to do any good at all. Anyway, long story short of it is, we made it to the dock. But what I was thinking about was prop me up on my leaning side. See, that's what I was doing. And I didn't even recognize that. And I wrote that down. I'm like, you know what? That is part of prop me up on my leaning side. That whole experience, which I'm going to quit naming a title until Friday. Because this is like ridiculous. But prop me up on my leaning side. Sometimes you don't have those people around you, do you? What do? Call in the angels. And those angels can be somewhere, I don't know. I don't know where my mom is, but I just know where I can talk to her because she's right here, right? And that's who you're talking to. When you ask for help, you have everything you need inside you. There is nothing externally that you truly need to get through in this life. And I look around and I know so many of you have got way more leaning barns going on, you know. And this pastor, there's a whole story about this, lean me up on my leaning side. And it talks about this pastor would always go and visit this farmer. And every time they would end their meeting, the farmer would say, let me add to our prayer, because the pastor would pray, and then the farmer would interrupt and say, I want to add one more thing. And Lord, prop us up on our leaning side. And finally the minister said, why do you always want to end that prayer with that? And he said, I was riding my tractor one day, and I noticed my barn leaning to one side. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, that barn's leaning, and it's a matter of time before that whole thing falls. He says, so you know what I did? I went and got some pine timbers, and I propped it up on its leaning side, and it still leans, and it probably always will, but propped up on its leaning side, it's not going to fall down, because I propped it up on its leaning side. He said, when I was on the tractor, Pastor, I was riding in the field, and I thought about the kind of year I've had. Let's think about the kind of 2.5 years we've had. I thought about storms that I've been through and some of the people that are bugging me and eating away at my joy and eating away at my spirit. And I just got to thinking, you know, I'm still here. I'm still here, and I'm still standing after all the stuff I've been through. The storms and the howling winds, they couldn't topple me. I'm still standing by the grace of God. And he concluded, from time to time, I find myself leaning toward my old desires, leaning toward anger, leaning toward becoming bitter or hateful at the people who are bugging me, or leaning toward and going back to the old habits and the old life I used to have. And when I feel myself starting to lean toward that tendency, I remember that old barn, and I pray, Lord, prop me up on my leaning side. And that just hit home to me. And then when I saw this Amish picture, I'm like, this is community. These are the people you go to. You notice, they're all Amish. They don't call on the people in the Unity Church to come help build the barn, because we don't think like them. They know exactly what they're doing, right? Doesn't make them wrong, does it? Heck no. But we go in there and try to do it. Mess up. So we say, you want to be, you know, how's it go? These are my people. And I like my people, because they'll prop me up on my leaning side anytime I need propping up. Any of you got that? Can you think of some things where you need propping up, and the people in your life that prop you up? Some of these people are your coworkers. Some of these people are your clients. Some of these people are family members. But I know for sure they definitely are some of the people here in this church community. And that's why we call it a community. Let's go to that next one, Sandy. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up. Can we do that enough? No. You know, gosh. Oh, here we go. Michael's probably going to kill me on this one. But it's true. Okay, so I come home from a really hectic day, and this is what I drive up to the driveway. He's got Alexis blaring 70s music, right? And he's out on the porch going, as I pull up, right, he's going like this. Right? He's very animated, right? And I'm trying to laugh. I'm getting a smile. And I'm like, I get out of the car, he goes, come on, let's dance, right? I'm in heels, and I'm like, I can't dance. So I go in the house, which I said, could you just do this and this chore while I'm gone? Right? Because I knew I was going to be gone most of the day. And I opened the door, and I'm like, he didn't do any of this. He'd been so busy. He's working outside. He's building step forms and all that. And this was his way of releasing himself, dancing out there on the porch with this music. And here I am, like, oh, no. I mean, my whole body just went, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it, he said. Well, it's too late. I've already, boom, lowered the boom down, right? I've shut him down. And then, of course, what happens to him? Shut down, right. Now, I'm going to just tell you, I've had to do some processing through this because I'm wanting to say, you didn't do what I asked you, right? But when you, which I didn't, but if I would have zipped it up and done my pause and pray, but I proceeded. I skipped those 2 steps because it knee-jerked me. And what I thought about, he did one, there was those 2 things he didn't do. There were 47 things he did do. But it took me 12 hours to realize that and to turn it around. So only 2 things he didn't do. There were 47 things that he did right. Think about that when you want to tear somebody down. Think about that when you want to blame them for not being here, doing that, and do the pause. And think about, go to gratitude to think about what they did do right. It's not easy, though, all the time, is it? Let's go to that next one. What if we came together to build each other up instead of tearing each other down? Is that not why you come here on Sunday? Because you're guaranteed that you're going to be with people that are going to build you up. If there's somebody here that's going to tear you down, then come see me and we're all 3 going to have a conversation. Because that's not what we're about. We're not about tearing each other down. We're about building each other up. And when we build each other here up, then hopefully we go home to our families, to our friends, to our jobs, and we do a little bit better job at building other people up. Right? Because it's not about being in these protective walls. We got to go out there and live it. We got to go out there and live it. I say it often. You know, the danger of New Thought is that we get it here and we can even spew it out here, but if we aren't living it, then it's done absolutely no good. And I will tell you from my own experience, being here over 30 years as part of this congregation, it is amazing, and that's why people feel the energy when they come up to these grounds, is because there is a community of the majority people that are living it. And I'm witnessing it in each and every one of your own lives. You're not giving it lip service. You're actually integrating it into your lives. And when you do that, everything works differently, doesn't it? I'm glad I see some heads nodding. Good. Good. And then we got this youth program. Wait till they come in. I got a youth director, our head of YFM, has been so excited to this lesson today for a month. She's been excited. She's like a little 4-year-old. Texting me, she can't wait. She's all set. She's all done. She gets here this morning. I've been, just FYI, they're outside. I've been outside and I got everything all set up. She's just like a little kid. What a blessing for our kids to experience an adult that's on their level of being excited about going outside. Oh my gosh, I mean, I didn't bring my kids here till they were teenagers, but even still, they got to experience. Can you remember that, Christy? They had the teen program out in the carriage house, and that teen director was part of making costumes for the children's theater, and she would bring all these costumes, and they would dress up and have a blast. That's how, it's just propping them up on their leaning side is what they do out there, these teachers. And that's what you have the opportunity to do every moment of every day, to prop somebody up on their leaning side. Have you ever, I know you're witnessing this, just go to a restaurant. They are so shorthanded, right? And so the people that are serving, a lot of times they're not very happy. Have you noticed that? Yeah, the customer service thing is kind of really waning. And how can you prop them up on their leaning side? Thank you, but before you even give a tip, I'm going to sidebar on that. Do you know what TIP stands for? We are doing it all backwards. I am too. TIP, to ensure prompt service. TIPS, to ensure prompt service. We're supposed to be tipping ahead of time to ensure prompt service. Isn't that interesting? Watch, just play with it. Go to Frisch's or Bob Evans or wherever you're going, Melt, go and you know what you're going to order, right? By the time the server comes to get your order, you know what you're going to order and you know what you're going to get to drink. So you kind of got an idea how much your bill's going to be, right? In a figure, okay. So I know I'm going to spend $10 at the Melt. And okay, so I know I'm going to give at least $2, but I'm a restaurant person, so I usually give way more because I understand what they go through. Watch and give that server, just give them I'm going to say $5 bill and say, here, I want to give you your tip ahead of time. And they're like, what? You watch. Would you like some more iced tea? Would you like some more iced tea? Can I get you anything else? Prop them up on their leaning side. Just watch, play with it. It's amazing. That is indicative to everything in our life. You know, I look at Marcy, and if you watch her Facebook posts, she teaches children, and she posts all these things that these kids say about her. And why? Because she props them up on their leaning side every single day. You're in Princeton School District, right?
Yes, and I'm now teaching for the Children's Theater of Cincinnati.
Yes. Yvette teaches children all week long music lessons. And I look at her bag of teaching materials. You know what it's full of? Happy stickers. Everybody, watch, she's looking. She's got it right there. Happy stickers. She props them up on their leaning side, and they want to do more because these are great teachers, aren't they? You encourage. I look at my son-in-law. Same thing, encouragement. That's what works. But the first thing out of my mouth yesterday was, you didn't do this. Instead of me naming some of the 47 things he did do, I went right to the thing that he didn't do. Think about how we do that in our life. And how we do that. And we tend to do it most of the time with the people we're closest to, don't we? Yeah, so just think about it. I love this next picture. Helping each other, one Amazon box at a time, I guess. Oh, you know, helping each other. And I'm going to hit this really quick. You look at our grounds out here and how pretty they are. How can we help each other here in community? How can you help here? It takes a lot in the summer and the fall to take care of these grounds. I'm just going to ask you, you know how you can help your community? Is by picking up sticks when you see them in the driveway. When you see bottles that have been thrown off from people driving by, could you just walk out there with a little Kroger bag or a paper bag and collect and stick it in our recycle bin? Just help us keep this place beautiful. We tend to think that, well, it's Monday, and why is Fellowship Hall dirty? Where's this cleaning crew? Right? How do you think we have a cleaning crew 7 days a week here? No, 1 day a week. So it's like home, right? If anybody ever got their house clean, within 2 days later, Michael and I have destroyed it. And you think, what did we just pay for? Well, we did pay to have it cleaned. We have it paid to mow, but we need help in between. So just think of this as your spiritual home. And would you, if there's paper towels on the floor in the bathroom, would you just leave it at home? Or would you just bend down and pick it up? And wash your hands again. It's not that hard. So I just want you to think about this last slide. Your words of encouragement could be the spark that pushes a person forward. Your words of encouragement could be the spark that push a person forward. And I've got to tell you, I love the younger people, and look at Lynn. I love this. You pick up your phone and take a picture of these things so you don't forget them, because you think you'll remember them, but see them. And then post them to Facebook and say, this was at Unity of Garden Park today. This is how you spread this church's message, which is the best secret, apparently, in the whole wide world, that there really is a place like this. For real, right? So, I could go on, right? So let's go to the affirmation that Angel, I believe, did Alan, were you part of this, or did Angel write this one? No, Angel did this one? So let's say that one together. Today, I let go, knowing I am completely held and supported. Today, I practice trust by remembering God's love. Let's say it again. Today, I let go, knowing I am completely held and supported. Today, I practice trust by remembering God's love. Today, I practice knowing how great I am. How great I am. There is no one that's going to give you the answers you're searching for. You have the answer within yourself. You are your greatest teacher. Because, as Barb Frederick and I say all the time, what if we are the Messiah the world has been waiting for? How would you be? How would you be if you were the Messiah the world has been waiting for? I love it. Namaste. Which to me is the Christ presence in me. Truly sees and honors, truly honors the Christ presence, the Messiah in each and every one of you. Namaste.